Hello everybody and welcome to Pravus Gaming and the Twitch stream of Stellaris Utopia, an expansion to an already awesome game by Paradox Development Studios. Supposedly they have added a lot into the mid and late game while also changing up some key mechanics, adding in Unity, Hive Minds, global food, lots of cool stuff. We're going to get into that today. Now, of course, because this is a Twitch stream, for those of you on YouTube, understand that I will be interacting with chat, doing some straw polls and stuff that you may not see, but at least on this end, I'm hoping it's entertaining. So, let's go ahead and start up a new game. Best thing to do is just jump straight into it. Now, I've taken the liberty of creating 3 different types of civilizations that we could play as today, and this is where I'm going to look for some help from Twitch chat. So, a lot of changes were made as far as unity and progression in a civilization, trying to develop it with different traditions. They also made some big changes to slavery, and they also added in a totally new government type called the Hive Mind. We have to pick one of these to start us off. So I'm going to create a straw poll, and I'm going to put this thing right now in our Twitch chat. I'm going to ask you guys to vote on that and decide what kind of thing you'd like to see. We can play as either the peaceful explorers who are going to be going out trying to make friends, possibly build some allies, federation, focus on a strong sense of unity, and really focus through those tradition paths. Or we can play as, as you see here, Covenant of Sharaka, merciless slavers. Or we can play as a hive mind. So, straw poll is going up now. You can click on the link and go and vote, everybody. What would you guys like to see? In the meantime, I'm going to try to get my coffee in while you guys are doing that. Whatever you do, don't use rockets. Are those still broken? I can't remember if they did a hotfix on that or not. Oh, wait, crap. I didn't actually link the... Shoot, that's the wrong link. My bad. There you go. There you go. Sorry about that. Yep, I've already failed. Click on that, guys. Let's take a look. So far, Hive Mind does have a pretty decent lead, which is kind of what I was expecting. Yep. Looking like the Hive Mind's going to be a winner. Keep going. I'm going to keep this open for a little bit longer. So the Hive Mind is really bizarre. The way that it's different in its playstyle is that happiness and government ethics is no longer a concern. Everyone is of one mind. They're all equally happy. That's not an issue. But they're pretty much hated by everyone in the galaxy because they're so alien and foreign, and they don't really play well with others. They kind of have a tendency to just devour everything in sight. So we'll see if any more votes are going to come in. Peaceful Explorers had a fairly good start in the very beginning, and now, no one wants Peaceful Explorers. No. That's fine. Alright, I'm going to close this in just a little bit. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright. Looks like Hive Mind is by a long shot the winner, 58%. Kind of what I was expecting. Honestly, everyone kind of likes Hive Minds, so we can create a new one, but what I've created here now is something called The Joined. So I'm going to go through and edit this and show you guys how the Hive Mind works, how they've changed the game as far as ethics, civics, and stuff like that. But the Hive Mind, I've already got one that's kind of good. If you don't like it and you have some suggestions and want to see something else, let me know in chat as I am doing this. So, starting off as The Joined, you have to just pick anything, really, any sort of appearance. You could play as a humanoid, you could play as a reptilian and stuff. Personally, I think playing as a fungus makes a heck of a lot of sense, because the mycelium and stuff like that, you know, just kind of an evolved consciousness of fungus. What I've done here, though, is I've actually found a portrait where it looks like some sort of fungus is infecting some sort of mammalian host, so that's kind of why I picked that. I thought it looked pretty cool. Moving on into the species name, I created something called The Joined. If you guys have any ideas that are better than that, let me know in chat. I am excited about that. Looking through some stuff here. Yeah, the Hive Mind does not have some of the factions and the cool political stuff inside of it, the internal factions. But unfortunately, we can only really cover one at a time here, so that was a pretty big change that was added into the game. Anyway, so yeah, let's see, nameless, that doesn't really matter too much. Alright, so traits. So, the Hive Mind is, as I said, kind of unique in that it doesn't have any government ethics, it doesn't really have any citizen happiness. That stuff is basically all disabled. So you actually do have some restrictions as far as what kind of traits you are able to pick up for your species. It does still leave the option for some things like communal and stuff like that. I don't know why it's in here, because it will not let you create the civ, but it lets you select this. It'll have a little red text saying, hey, it doesn't work. What I've done here is I've created a repugnant species that looks ugly. Other species happiness by minus 5%. You know, it's just disgusting, hideous growths on some different creatures. You know, I don't like that stuff. Sedentary, they don't like to move around too often. They are very adaptive, though. They can pick up almost any kind of homeworld. Rapid breeders, they grow really quickly, spread all over your body. And they're talented. You retain the knowledge of the previous joined consciousness, I guess we'll say. And as a result, all of our leaders will start with a higher level of skill. That sort of makes sense to me. There wasn't a whole lot of additions made to the racial traits. That stuff's pretty standard. There are a couple of differences that are worth noticing, though. There's conservationist, and there's wasteful as a negative trait. And this has to do with consumer goods. We'll talk about this a little bit more as we get into it, but consumer goods is basically a mineral maintenance cost for all of your pops. So reducing that can actually save you a lot of minerals, especially for a very large empire. When you're small, I don't think it's as big of a deal. Moving on into the ruler trait, though, I have created the Prime Consciousness as our leader. There's not a whole lot else that we ought to do here. We could change up the color type and stuff, but I actually think this purplish color is kind of cool. We'll change the room a little bit, though. Something like this kind of works. You know what? I kind of like this. I think we'll stick with this as our room. Our homeworld is called Halfussa. It is an alpine world with a pretty cold climate. This thing's a resilient little fungus that spreads all over the mammalian host. City appearances, I'm leaving as a fungoid city. Government ethics. Now this is where you choose your hive mind. So it's right here in the center, and normally what you would do with any other sort of civilization is you decide if you want to be militant, if you want to be egalitarian, and so on, and you get all sorts of different boosts that come with that. As a hive mind, however, you can't select anything else. That is the only ethic you are allowed to choose. Nothing else really matters, and that unlocks a unique government type called the Hive Mind. And in that are a whole bunch of different civics. So I'm going to go ahead and remove these real quick, and we'll just take a look at some of these for the Hive Mind. But if you don't understand how this works, real quick, let me just switch off the Hive Mind and go to something like, let's say, egalitarian, militarist, and materialist. There you go. That will determine what kind of a government you are allowed to unlock, and then there's a whole bunch of different civics that are now associated with those different ethics. And some of them will produce some really powerful benefits. For example, the police state, minus 20 unrest across all of your empire. Really quite good. But in order to have this, you are not allowed to have fanatic egalitarian. You have to be a militarist. Cool. And as you unlock some different stuff, you'll get different kind of options. We have 2 points that we're allowed to pick at the start of the game. You can unlock more later, is my understanding. One particularly powerful one that I have noticed here is if you go for pacifist, you can go for agrarian Adele, which produces unity for every single farm. And had we gone for a unity focus with the peaceful explorers, that's what I would have done. But anyway, yeah, so just kind of sorting through all this stuff. Lots of different boosts that you're able to do. You pick out two different civics, and that's all you're going to get at the start of the game. But as the Hive Mind, you don't get any of those. Unique. If we open up the Hive Mind here, we have, I'm going to go through all of these, subspace EFAP, I don't know, naval capacity plus 15%, research speed plus 5%, consumer goods, as I mentioned before, minus 20%, one mind for monthly unity plus 15%, divided attention for extra core sector systems, strength of the legions, army damage plus 20%, subsumed will plus 1 monthly influence, which is pretty good, and pooled knowledge, leader skill levels plus 1. We could really double down on having some really strong leaders. All right. Gangrene. That's a funny name. Anyway, I see some people saying you could do extremely adaptive, able to colonize pretty much everything, and no one will be unhappy about low habitability. That is certainly true. Let's actually go and take a look real quick. Is that something I would want to do? I did pick up adaptive. I'd have to sacrifice rapid breeders and talented to make that happen. I kind of like growth time personally. Habitability, extreme habitability, I should say. Or adaptivity. Would increase my habitability by another 10%. But I have to get rid of the growth cost and the leader levels. It is pretty strong, there's no doubt about it. There's a reason it costs 4 points to get this. I think I'll stick with what I've got here because I kind of like this setup. But I think there is a very good argument for the extra habitability. That's certainly true. But we're not going to be able to expand into a bunch of different planets until we have enough people to build a strong economy to colonize. So that's kind of my thought process there. But anyway, we'll stick with that. So yeah, with the Hive Mind, what do you guys think is going to be really good here? Because what I had gone for before is 1 mind for the extra unity, and subsumed will for the monthly influence. The other one I really like, though, is divided attention for the extra core sector systems, but, sectors in this game are not necessarily so bad, so I'm not sure if this is absolutely necessary. What do you guys think? Call it the Flood. I know, a Halo reference. It is basically what it is. I was deliberately trying not to use names for existing hive minds in sci-fi universes. The Joined was about as good as I thought I could get. Empire starting size is going to be 1 planet colonized, obviously, but they did make a change in Utopia. You do not start off with 5 core sector system limit. They've reduced it down to 3. But there are a lot more techs that you're able to research that will unlock more. So it's a little bit smaller to start off. Pool the knowledge. Leader skill levels. You guys think I really should go for that? All right, what would I get rid of? Should I get rid of the unity or should I get rid of the influence? One mind is pretty good, I think. Pooled knowledge. Divided attention isn't that great. Plenty of ways to increase core planets in the game. That's certainly true. So yeah, I guess that's not absolutely necessary. So it really just comes down to me, do I want the influence or do I want the better leaders? And it seems like people really would like to see pooled knowledge. So you know what? All right, let's get rid of subsumed will, and we're going to have pooled knowledge. The Hive Mind's autonomous drones frequently share knowledge through direct links, bypassing the Hive Mind's slower registry processes. Better leaders across the board. All right, so we want to keep the unity? Well, now I see some people talking about influence. You know what? Let's stick with the unity right now, simply because it's a new mechanic in the game. Influence is certainly good, and I think it's actually better for the Hive Mind than it usually would be, simply because there aren't political factions. But I think you do get influence by absorbing and annihilating other worlds. So let's stick with unity just so that we're able to look at something new. And we're going to call it the Joined. Moving on, what is the problem here? Why is this red? Oh, wait, we have to select our government type. There we go. All right. For our flag, I created this one already. Starting weapons. So if missile weapons are still kind of messed up, I think we should go for something else. Should we go for energy weapons? I did projectile weapons last time as the Bacterian Collective. Let's do something different. We'll just do energy weapons. That's probably fine. FTL method, I've decided to go for hyperspace. I do kind of want to unlock those hyperspace lines and have some fun. We did wormhole last time, and I don't really like warp, so hyperspace seems to be a pretty good compromise there. And as far as our ship type, I kind of like going for the idea of mammalian ships simply because we sort of absorbed the mammalian species that was here, rather than creating our own fungoid ships. So I think we will stick with the mammalian ships. I think they could look kind of cool. All right, so that is going to be our nation, everybody. We are the Joins. You shall all be assimilated. Let's save this. And let's move on. I know some people may be new to Stellaris, and if that is the case and you don't recognize everything that's going on right now, I did do a series on this a long time ago. But basically, we're just kind of setting up our bonuses for our nation, making it unique, tailoring it to different modifications and stuff that we're going to want. You'll kind of see how this stuff works later, but for now, best thing to do is just kind of jump into the game. For our galaxy size, we'll do a medium size, I think. We'll do a 4-armed spiral galaxy. There will be 12 AI empires, with some of them having an advantage. A couple of fallen empires, I think. Normal habitable worlds, or do we want to have extras? I will set this on to Iron Man. Why not? Unity is good. Energy. Yeah, a lot of people saying going for the energy weapons and stuff. Okay. Yeah, alright, you know what? Let's go ahead and do something kind of like this. We're going to have our spiral arms. We're going to have just normal habitable worlds so you don't have too many of them. Empire placement and clusters and stuff sounds pretty good. Let's begin the game and get started off as the Joined. And so, at the dawn of time, we awoke. The mind studied our surroundings on Halfasa with a multitude of eyes. We moved as one, building shelters for the drones, developing industry, researching new technologies, and harnessing the resources of the land. Soon we had grown to encompass the entire world. A small number of autonomous drones were created to serve as independent agents. These more formidable drones had the capacity for limited free thought, but were still as inexorably bound to the will of the mind as any of its other instruments. As we achieved complete domination over Halfasa, the mind became aware of other worlds, orbiting other suns. The most intelligent of our autonomous drones devised new methods of travel, enabling us to cross the vast distances between the stars. The Joined, will soon grow. All right, let's begin. So here we are in our starting system of Halfas Core. Cool. And if we go out to the galactic map mode, there we are. All right. In our little section of the galaxy, we are the Joined. So here's all the little hyperspace lanes. These are going to be what restricts us as far as our traveling path. If you had gone for warped, you could just go directly from point A to point B, but it is a bit slower. If we had gone for wormhole, we could have built a wormhole station to just sort of teleport across the galaxy. Hyperspace, though, I think is kind of fun. So, one of the first things that we're going to want to do, for those of you who are not too familiar with this game, is we are going to want to assign some research. Let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll talk about some of the new things that were added into the game. I do like the solar panel network. Let's go ahead and grab that. Society. Monthly influence +1. Heck yes, grab that. And army damage and minerals. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. All right. So, changes that were made into the game. First things first, you'll notice with society, I did not go for colonization. That is because colonization is no longer a researchable technology. You start with it. Every nation will start with... Can we look at the previously researched? There we go. Everyone will start off with a colony ship available to them. Of course, you still have to get the minerals, but it's there. So, no need to research that anymore. And the reason why, my understanding is, Paradox understood that this was always the first tech you research no matter what, and it's like, well, what's the point then? If that's always the strategy, we might as well just make it part of the base game. So they did. We also have access to a new building here, Sociocultural History, a monument which produces 2 Unity, and this is something new here. And Unity is pretty cool, and I want to kind of go over that before we go too much further. So let's talk about Unity. Unity, by the base game, we start off with 1 per month, and then there are a bunch of different modifiers that will allow you to get a bit more. So the fact that we have 1 mind gives us an extra 15%, Hive Mind gives you another 20%, and our leader in particular, if you look here, has 2 stars, and I think that there's like an extra 3% per rank of your leader or something like that. So as a result, we're making 2.82 Unity per month. What does Unity do in this game? Take a look. This is actually very similar to the kind of civics trees you would have found in Civilization 5. You unlock a category, and then you start working down the tree, unlock a whole bunch of different buffs for your civilization. And the cool thing is, once you've actually finished an entire tree, let's say Harmony, you can then unlock Ascension perks, which provide some really powerful bonuses for your empire. I think that it's actually going to be pretty common to find in the multiplayer scene people building small, tight-knit empires that are going to churn out a crap ton of Unity before they have a massive expansion later in the game. So we have Expansion, which is good for rapidly expanding into new planets. If you simply adopt this, you can see that new colonies will start with 1 additional pop. If we finish the entire expansion tree, we would get an additional core sector systems modified by 2, and we would unlock an Ascension perk. And within the expansion tree, you can buy Colonization Fever, which produces additional Unity from the capital building on your colony. A new life for population growth time reduction and colony development speed increased. Courier Network, reducing the impact on tradition cost. And that is to say, every time you're expanding and getting new planets, you're increasing the cost of your Unity before you can get your next tradition. So this reduces that a little bit. Reach for the Stars, which reduces the cost of your frontier outposts. And Galactic Ambition, which makes the upkeep cheaper. Actually, hang on. I thought that was Reach for the Stars. What does this do? For the purpose of colonizing and building frontier outpost systems count as being half the regular distance away. Sorry. You can build further out. There we go. And this reduces the upkeep cost. Lots of really cool stuff here, and each one of these trees has some really unique stuff. Domination is good for war and trying to conquer people. Prosperity is really good for your economy. Harmony is good for unity and just improving happiness and reducing ethics migration, which is not as much of an issue for a hive mind, but it's still there. Supremacy is good for increasing your borders, having vassals. Diplomacy, obviously really good for diplomatic actions. You need diplomacy if you want to be able to build a federation, so this is going to be important later. And discovery for exploration, getting a lot of bonuses, reducing anomaly, failed chance, and stuff like that. It's pretty darn cool. Actually, I think this is one of my favorite things that was added into Utopia. I'm really excited to see what kind of build orders become prominent with this stuff. Some other major changes that were added, you'll notice right up here is a food counter. Food is now global. It is not localized to the planet. So if you have one planet that is really focused on churning out tons of food, that can sustain your empire. So how that's going to change the meta, not too sure yet, but it is certainly something. As I said before, your directly controlled colonized systems has been reduced from a base of 5 down to a base of 3, so that's going to be fun. And most other things are more or less similar than they were before. We can also talk a little bit about some species and stuff. They added a few things that won't really be relevant to us as a hive mind, but still pretty cool. If we had a whole bunch of different species and we weren't a hive mind, right? you can actually set the rights of different species within your empire. For example, we have full citizenship, all right? Everyone is free to be politically active and stuff like that. We're all members of the Joined. But if you were a multi-cultural empire with a lot of different species, you could set some of them to be having a caste system. Or they're free, but they're not allowed to engage in politics. Or they're your slaves, or so on. You can set each different species to have certain rights within your empire, which is pretty awesome. There's migration controls, population controls, colonization rights, and so on. Living standards is something new that was added into the game. Doesn't matter because we're playing as a hive mind, but this changes the consumer goods that are used at a cost. So if you're playing as anything else, this might be kind of relevant. You can have a really high living standard and kind of have a welfare system to try and increase population happiness, but it's very costly and stuff like that. So pretty cool. Not really relevant as a hive mind, but it's there. As a hive mind, we're not going to have any other species unless they are also of the hive mind government rank. What we're going to do as a hive mind is once we conquer planets and we have other species, we are automatically going to purge and devour them and get a huge influx of food. So you're not going to see a lot of other species here, but it's certainly an option. All right, let's go ahead and get into the game itself. We are going to be picking up our science ship here, which already has Karba as a scientist with an anomaly fail risk reduction. That's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and have this person survey the system, and what he's going to do is go explore all the planets, find out what kind of resources are available, and maybe we can build some mining stations and stuff like that. I'm going to go ahead and take our first armada, which is three little... let's see if I can find you. Three little corvettes right here, and we're going to split them up into several different fleets so that I can quickly start doing some exploration. There's our space station right here. And if you look at Halfasa, all right, we already have a governor, apparently. Go to the surface. This is what our planet looks like right now. See right here that happiness does not matter. We are a hive mind. We don't have any of the benefits of having really high happiness, but we don't have any of the downsides of having low happiness either. So that's just not going to be, it's not going to be an issue. All right, we could consider building some stuff here. We're doing pretty good on food right now. Could I go ahead and build out some more minerals? I think I'm willing to do that. Alternatively, it might be better just to have someone work this tile. Do you want more research? We could actually build a monument, start getting some early unity if we want to do that. It's not so bad. I kind of want to build one of these just because it's cool to have one early, but right now we kind of need all these resources. You can see, by the way, that our planetary administration is producing one unity. So there is that. Alternatively, we could go for a little bit of extra research. I think I'm going to go ahead and build the monument. Why not? Let's just build a monument because it's kind of cool. I want to see what it looks like. Let's go to our space station here in Halfasa, Spaceport. We're going to build a second science ship so I can do a little bit of early exploration. And let's go out to the galaxy map mode because I want to take our armada and start exploring. Hey, look, we already found another alpine world. It's only size 15, though. Not very big, but it's there. All right, so I'm going to have you go and explore, let's just say, this arm of the galaxy. See if you can find any other species, anything useful, new habitable planets, and so on. You know, cool stuff. You, however, are going to go out this direction. We're going to stay relatively close to home. Kind of like this. Find all these planets. And then you, I'm going to have go down here. We're just going to explore our immediate vicinity. Find out what's around. Anything useful? I want to know about it. Okay, and let's unpause the game. And we'll be playing on a faster speed, of course. And now, we simply sit back and we're going to wait for a little bit and find out what we have. What starting resources do we get? I'm hoping for a lot of minerals. We don't have any energy on the sun. Kind of unfortunate, but okay. Gonna take a look here at the chat, see what's going on. Seems we're having a little bit of a buffering issue today, apparently. Not too sure why. But, oh well.
Construction.
I'm not too sure what to do about that, unfortunately. It seems we were operating fine on my end. I'm not having any buffering issues right now, so... if there's anything that you think I can do to make it better, let me know. But I think you may be stuck on your end. I'm not sure why. Let's go to the construction ship that we built, and let's build a mining station as soon as we have the resources available. Generate an extra 2 minerals per month. That would be nice. The science ship is done. Excellent. We need to assign a new leader. So let's go ahead and hire somebody. Everyone's assigned, right? Yes, they are. Recruit a new leader. This costs some of our political influence. Do we want research speed for statecraft, materials, industry? All kind of meh. Who's doing engineering research right now? Voidcraft. Okay, we'll probably switch some people around here. So let's take a new... Let's take a new industry leader. What we're going to do is we're going to go to our tech, and we're going to switch people around. You here. You're already better at this stuff. He's got an expertise bonus to this type of research, so we'll have him do that. Go to the science ship, assign a new leader. You have to have a scientist at all times in order to operate your science ship. And this guy, if you go out to the galaxy map mode, is going to go to this system and survey it. Let's find out what this new planet can do for us. What's it called? Jardlafon 1. Well, it's a tundra planet, which is habitable for us, so I want to know if it's got anything good on it. Construction complete, yes. That would be the science ship. All right, how many planets are in this solar system? Let's take a look-see, shall we? We start off with our home one there, obviously. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 planets, it looks like, and a couple of asteroids. But not all of these are going to be habitable, obviously, so that's a problem. So far, we're actually finding shockingly little in our home system. We've only found 2 minerals so far. That's very unlucky. I'm not happy about that. We encountered another type of alien. Okay, we could research that, find out who they are. It did not take long for the joined to come across, intelligent alien life. The fleet's report to the joined capital somewhat understates just how the alien forces appear, and only in passing mentions the failure to open comms. Let's see if we can find out where they are. Do we see aliens? I'm guessing it's these guys right here. I mean, it looks certainly like a planet. So it's not pirates, it's not space cows. This actually might be a homeworld of somebody. Could be another empire. Not too sure yet. Could also be a primitive race. That can also happen. We'll have to research it later and find out. Hey, look, another alpine world, size 17. Okay, we'll have to research that as soon as we can, too. Ironically, it started buffering when I started talking about it. Yeah, that's how it works, right? All right, let's get up to 90 minerals so we can build up our next mining station. We want to get as many minerals as possible, and seriously, we're finding nothing on this system. Wow. That's very disappointing. I hope we find something else within our space. We have... looks like only 2 more stars currently within our borders. That's not a lot, but we're really close to getting another one. We'll have to expand pretty early on, I think. Otherwise, we might get starved for resources. Go to a faster speed. There we go. All right, we have 90 minerals. Let's take our construction ship. We shall build a mining station, which will cost us an energy upkeep, but we will get an extra 2 minerals per month by doing this. Okay, we found some engineering research. That's good. We found an anomaly. It has a 0% failure risk, so I guess we might as well do it. The mineral composition does not match any projections. All right, go ahead. Research this thing. See what else is going on here. All right, we're finding a little bit more out here, though. We're finding some minerals, a bit more research, physics and society. It's okay, I guess. Not amazing. You can see our guys zooming around in the hyperspace lanes here. We're finding a lot of uninhabitable planets. Some tropical worlds, really large tropical worlds. A savanna world, an ocean world, continental, more savanna. This armada here apparently is idle. So let's send you down to this arm of the galaxy. See what else we got going on here. I want to know. Across the barren worlds of Darmag's frontier, there are indications of old battles being fought. Beneath the lifeless ground, our researchers on the ISS Pandak the Wise have found bones, metallic shards, and most surprisingly, a container filled with documents. Oh, cool. It's like a time capsule. If we send the documents to our homeworld for translation, we could potentially learn more about this war and who fought in it. It would also be possible to simply sell them off as antiques. I mean, that's a pretty good amount of minerals and energy, but I think I'd rather have a special project, so let's go ahead and do that. Can we do that right now? Situation log? Now, let's see. This is a reward of influence if we do research these aliens. Let's start with this. We'll research the warrior texts, and yeah, let's go ahead and investigate the other aliens. I want to know who they are. Construction First armada here is done, so let's send you further out. Actually, did we miss a planet? Or a star system here? Nope, don't think we did. Go up Meow, and kind of hook around a little bit. There we go. And you, sir, continue your way down here. There we go. We have recovered artifacts from an ancient alien civilization. They must have been active in this region of space approximately 12 million years ago, judging by the age of the artifacts. From what they've been able to piece together, our scientists theorize that these aliens, who call themselves the Voltum Star Assembly, were worm-like annelids, roughly 3 to 4 meters in length, that communicated with each other primarily through vibrations carried along their segmented bodies. Updated. Very, very cool. Alright, so we've gotten a pretty reasonable start here, found some more minerals finally. What I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to put a cut in for YouTube, simply because we are now half an hour into this, so stand by Twitch stream. I'm going to put a cut in here. For those of you watching on YouTube, thank you very much for watching. I do hope you are excited about this series. Be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment with your questions, and subscribe if you are new. And I will see you guys next time.